As some of you might know, I used to run a channel called chRedPill. Yeah, it's a cringy name, but the idea was to explain to guys how things actually are. Young men. Teach them, the truth about the world, being red-pilled. And what does being red-pilled mean? Well, it means very simply that there are two paths that you can take as per the metaphor from The Matrix. On the one hand, you can take the blue pill, which is to accept the dominant cultural narrative of what's going on around you. And on the other hand, you can take the red pill and see beneath the mask, beneath the lies, beneath the bullshit. And so that's the whole point of the metaphor of the red pill. And see, there are some guys who are oh, I'm all red-pilled and stuff, I know the real deal, and all these other blue pillars, the sheep, the sheeple, the cows, you grazing, and in the zeitgeist, right? They're fools. They don't know what's going on. No, that's not true. What happens a lot of times is that, there are a lot of people who are very ignorant about the things going on, especially now that we are in the decay of our Western civilization. In fact, we're watching its collapse as we speak. This winter is going to be horrifying. But there are those who are ignorant to what's actually going on. And on the other hand, there are people who can't quite believe it, who don't want to believe it. It's not that they want to deny reality. Rather, they can't believe that they have been led so astray. And there's one such person that I've noticed recently, a YouTuber, a big YouTuber. He's got a couple of million subscribers called Dr. John Campbell. Now, Dr. John came to prominence because when that thing that we can't mention, that malady that started back in early 2020, he started doing these very, very good videos that were very clear, very measured, very calm, discussing the malady that was supposed to be sweeping through the world. And I've been following his channel ever since. And it's extraordinarily interesting because I have watched in real time as Dr. John has become red-pilled. And you can tell by his eyes how difficult a process it has been. Because very clearly Dr. John, he was an accredited doctor. As I understand it, he taught nurses, and he seems to have been very good at his profession. He's an older gentleman. I believe he might be retired. I mean, he certainly looks it. I don't mean any disrespect. I'm just saying who he is. And he started up YouTubing, and he followed the dominant narrative, and he explained things that came out of the dominant narrative. But as of late, he has been realizing something that a lot of us, people like myself, in fact, predicted would happen. And that is that we started noticing, or let me phrase that, he started noticing excess deaths. He started noticing excess deaths, and it was just too much. Now, of course, back in December of 2020, when that substance, let's call it that, the substance that Tiffany Dover took, well, I said, how on earth are we doing this? This is insane. And at the time, Dr. John, he was all for it. He thought it was a good thing because he trusted the people in leadership positions. He thought that they were on the up and up, that they had the best interests of the people at heart. And so Dr. John, as I said, a doctor who went through all the accreditation process, he got his degree and residency and all that stuff that a doctor does while he's in England. I don't know if they do residency, but the equivalent thereof. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not belittling him, but he was a good boy. He was a good boy, and you and myself, who are more cynical, we might have said, he's a sheeple, one of the blue pillars. But he's a very intelligent man, and a very thoughtful man, and a very measured man. And he just wanted to help people. He's a genuine doctor, and it's very obvious in his various videos that he is only trying to explain things in the best interests of the people watching him. He has no ulterior motive. And so he went along with the dominant narrative, and like I said, I've been seeing in real time as he gets red-pilled. You're seeing how the excess deaths can't be hidden. Because sorry about that. That's the thing. That's the thing that I predicted, as a matter of fact, in December of 2020, when they started rolling out the substance. They wouldn't be able to hide the deaths. And we're seeing that. We're seeing that now. We're seeing how the rollout of the substance went around the world, at least the Western world, because they didn't use the same substance in China or Russia or India, as I understand it. They used other stuff, more traditional type substances, if you know what I mean. It's only in the West that they used this novel technology that had never been tried before, and when it had been tried on test animals, the animals all died. And here they were, without any kind of realistic testing, spreading out this substance around the West. And now we're seeing the results. There's a video that Dr. John made a couple of days ago. I watched it yesterday. He was talking about infant mortality. I'll put a link in the description below so you can see for yourself. At more or less minute 7, he's discussing some data, and then he looks at the camera. And it's kind of like a heartbreaking look, because he realizes what's going on. And he realizes that he can't say it because he'll be censored on YouTube and any other social media platform, except the most marginal ones. All these social media, where he has millions of viewers, they will censor him if he speaks out. And looking at his face, his very grim face, because the death of infants is a terrible, terrible thing. And to be going over the fact that there are excess deaths, and to be reporting this information, is heartbreaking. And you could see in his eyes as he looks in the camera around minute 7:26, around there I think it was. He looks at the camera for several seconds, and you can see the disappointment, the anger, the realization that he's been fooled. And so, why am I doing this video? Well, apart from keeping up my steady schedule, for the reasons that you all know, I want you, with whomever you have around you, who is blue-pilled, who accepts the dominant narrative, who doesn't want to fight it, even though they are seeing evidence of the incompetence of the leadership class, even as they see evidence of censorship and repression of vital information. I want you to look at those people in your life and don't hold them in contempt. It's all fun and games to mock them and all the rest of it, but you have to look at them, especially the people closest to you, and you have to understand how afraid they are. And that's the key issue. Because watching Dr. John over the past few months, I can see periodically when he had started to realize the lies that he had been fed, that he had inadvertently been passing on, and realizing it's lies. Think how difficult that realization is, especially for somebody who has an established career, did everything that they were supposed to, as just, live their life as best they can and doing as they were told, and all of a sudden realizing the lies that they've been told. Think how difficult that is. I say this in this video, and perhaps Dr. John will watch this video. I hope he does, because I very much respect him, and I admire his effort and his stick-with-itness, And I can see how difficult it is for him. And so you have to have compassion to those people around you who are in similar circumstances. Don't mock them. Don't belittle them. Don't say, oh, you were so stupid. Because they're not stupid. They're very smart, very diligent, conscientious, hardworking people who were fooled. And you're going to note that the people who are most fooled, well, they get the most angry. Because nobody likes to be shown to be a fool. Nobody likes to realize that they've been bamboozled. We hate it. I mean, think of it. How many times have you been cheated somehow in some game you were playing, or that somebody fooled you about something important, of course? How angry that made you feel. And how when you discovered that you had been fooled, you lashed out. Well, that's the normal reaction. To lash out or to dismiss it and lie to yourself and pretend that what you're seeing, you're not seeing. You have to be compassionate to the people who have been fooled. And you have to make the extra effort to show them the truth, but in a way that is not confrontational. Don't fight them. Don't like go at them, put your face into their face and just like argue with them. No. What you have to do is very simple. You have to, take the documentation that you have, and rather than fight them face to face, you have to go around them and put your hand on their shoulder and say, look at this. Look what I've discovered. And they'll see it. They want to see it, because we all know in our hearts, even the most blue-pilled, narrative-spouting, nonsensical fool, we all know that we are being lied to. And it's with catastrophic results, not just insofar as the substance and the malady, but also in terms of our economy, what's happening in Europe, the war in Ukraine, all these lies. And we all sense that we are being fooled, we are being manipulated. We are being told pretty words to make us feel better, but they are not the truth. And even the most blue-pilled person is revolting. You have to help them. Don't fight them. Don't get in their face and get angry and yell at them. It serves no purpose except to entrench them further into the fictions that they are holding on to. You can't do that. You have to put your hand on their shoulder and show them the truth, little by little, because people fundamentally want to know what's really going on. Okay, I hope you'll find at least one person in your life, maybe 2, 3, 4, and you will make the effort. I mean, if I have a request to make you, it's that. Make the effort to talk to somebody close to you, a parent, a sibling, a friend, a wife, a girlfriend, whomever, and try to show them. Try to show them calmly, as a friend. Because see, the best friends you will ever have are the ones who will not tell you that it's all going to be okay. No. Your best friends are the ones who tell you the truth. Those are your real friends. See? Because your enemies want to keep you fooled and ignorant. Your friends want you to know.